What if you could unlock hidden development opportunities with just a click? Possible? We'll find out on this week's CRE Tech Pulse. Hello and welcome to CRE Tech Pulse, where we explore the intersection between technology and commercial real estate. I'm your host, Michael Hieronymus. In this week's episode, we have Oliver Alexander, a serial entrepreneur who's created an AI-driven software company that helps locate and quantify development opportunities across the United States. But before we get to the program, let's send it over to our CRE Tech news anchor, Chip Sterling. Chip? Thank you, Michael. In the news, Meta upgrades its Llama, Instagram is cloning people, Google Gemini 1.5 Pro now has more capabilities. But first, Adobe, you know the ones responsible for your PDFs, has announced an upgrade to its Firefly image generation, so now you can create even more images of cats wearing stupid things. This week, Meta introduced its new upgraded AI model, Llama 3. It boasts improved latency, a larger training dataset, and increased context length. They're also touting their trust and safety. Ugh. It appears Instagram has a super secret program that would allow celebrities to clone themselves and interact with fans, send messages, and reply to comments. I can't wait to have an in-depth conversation with Paris Hilton on 18th century colonialism. And finally, Google just released their updated LLM, Gemini 1.5 Pro, which is better than 1.0 Pro and 1.0 Ultra, but not better than its 1.5 Ultra. I can't wait for 1.5 supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And that's the news. Thanks, Chip. And now to the interview. Make sure to stick around for some bloopers at the end. Oliver, thanks for being on the show. Before we get too far ahead, tell us about yourself and what you're doing over at Prophetic.
Well, thanks for having me, Michael. So I'm Oliver Alexander. I'm a serial entrepreneur based here in Portland, Oregon. When I was an undergrad student, I started my first company, which is Orchid Health. And Orchid is a chain of primary care medical clinics that have integrated mental health therapy and urgent care in one room. But while I was running that company, I said, I'm going to do a high-end co-working play in Portland myself. Started a company called Remotely. So that was 2019. Right before the pandemic, things were pretty wild in 2020, as you can imagine, with the work space. Exited that business, went back to a problem I dealt with while scaling Orchid, which was just how difficult it is to find and assess real estate development opportunities. What if there was a way I could find and analyze real estate development opportunities as easy as using Zillow or another platform? And so that's the idea behind Prophetic. We analyze specific parcels and find you the best one that works. Or if you have a parcel, we can tell you what you do with it in terms of highest and best use. Let's say I'm a real estate developer and parcels that are a minimum of 50,000 square feet, and I'll go up. So once the search is conducted, it first off will highlight all the zones in a given municipality. But if we drill down on this one here, you can see, okay, we have residential zone type, what you can do here, great, duplex, multifamily, duplex, awesome. But you can see everything from the owner to the tax amount, what's their mortgage, what's the interest rate on that mortgage, when's it due, what are all the sale records, we have construction permits on file, the additional zone data, which is max building height, minimum lot area, all within a click. I mean, this is, to get this level of info is 15 to 30 minutes alone. I just did it. So let's say you can duplexes, family at a certain density. It'll just present those as options that you click. Parcel, the financial. For subdivision builders, they have a large area to work in, right? If I want to search for a subdivision opportunity, I want a parcel that's at least 200,000 square feet to 500,000. Subdivision, to make my money, I need to do lots that are at least 10,000 square feet or smaller. I'm going to search at the county level, and as you zoom in, it has the zoning identifiers overlaid. You see the parcels that match your criteria are identified. Boom. You see this one can support 4,500 square foot lot. It's a large lot, subdivided. If I'm a major subdivision builder, I just found an opportunity that none of my competitors are finding because I have technology that's just light years ahead.
So AI technology is obviously, front and center right now. How are you guys utilizing AI in your software, and where do you see it starting to progress into the future?
Yeah, AI is a hot button subject, no doubt. And I was talking to a colleague last night who was evaluating some startup pitches, and he said of all the decks that and all the pitches they reviewed this contest, 85% of them had AI in the presentation. You see how powerful this technology is and how much media coverage it gets. There's definitely a substantial gap between using AI a bit, putting a skin on ChatGPT and having some quote unquote AI functionality in your product versus true AI. We are on the side of pretty advanced 3D stuff, and we use it in a few ways. So we use the large language models to extract zoning data at scale. One of the needs that we discovered talking to a bunch of prospective customers over the last year of development is that it's really hard to create site plans for subdivisions. There isn't a good technology solution for that. If you have a parcel in mind, it'll take you several weeks to get a preliminary plan back from your engineering group. There will be a lot of different versions you'll go back and forth with. It's going to cost you 2, 5, 10 grand. And then one of the interesting problems as well is once the word is out about that potential acquisition, you may have other suitors come and try and buy that parcel. So now you're in a bidding. So the ability to rapidly create a site plan that's as or more accurate than a human and keep that knowledge close to the chest is really valuable to subdivision engineers.
What positions do you think in commercial real estate may go the way of the horse and buggy? But conversely, I should say, what do you think in commercial real estate positions could be created?
It's a great question. I think a lot of folks in a lot of industries are asking that same question pretty regularly these days. The speed of which the technology is developing and hitting the market is unprecedented. We can pull white papers that are 3 months old that are just completely wrong. There's so much has changed since then; it's no longer valuable. So I think if you're in commercial real estate in any capacity currently, it's really important to just educate yourself. You need to be looking at what the high-powered players are doing in prop tech. You need to be setting some Google alerts potentially. There's free trials for products. You should be using it. You should be playing with ChatGPT and seeing what you can get out of it and learning how people are prompting it effectively. It's important to know what other people might be doing out there and how they might be using that to 10x their productivity while you're doing things quote unquote fashioned way. I think what we're seeing so far is that if you have a certification after your name, you went through a rigorous training program or educational program that allowed you to achieve that certification. Unfortunately or fortunately, AI can ingest those same lessons and can learn those same things and can then execute those same skills that humans have learned from right. So things like architecture, financial analysts, engineers, a lot of that stuff is threatened by AI. But I would say there's a natural level of protection in place if you have credentials after your name, but you're protected by a licensure requirement, right? We will probably never be able to submit architectural drawings that are system generated because it doesn't have a license. It's not a standard. Same with engineering and those things. So that's going to change at the speed of the government. If you educate on the solutions and these new technologies that are coming out, you can connect that tech and that potential with the problem that you're familiar with and go attack a problem space that no one else is thinking about because you're so in industries.
What are you excited about in the next 6 months that you think AI is going to change?
I think the biggest advancement that we've seen in the past month, as well as what will come in the next 6 months, is the size of the context windows that LLMs can accommodate. So to frame it, generally it's in form of tokenization in the context window. So tokens, think of them as like words. So one word is one token. And you feed a certain amount of tokens into the model, which has a context window of the text tokens. For us, we have 500,000 page, whatever zoning documents that are too large for most models to accommodate. So think of a 500-page zoning manual, how many hundreds of thousands of words are in there. ChatGPT right now, I think their current context window limit is 128,000 tokens. We need hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions, in order to do some of the extraction that we're looking to do. But literally yesterday, we were on a call with our Google AI reps. They just released Gemini 1.5 Pro, which is similar to ChatGPT, with a 1 million context. That's the biggest the world has ever seen. Yeah, and when I see the level of quality that these models are putting out when it comes to images, videos, audio, that makes me really nervous for the creatives. There's going to be a lot of decision paralysis because the AI can instantly tell you what you should do or what it recommends. That's so much different than your current processes, which require meetings, levels of approval, law. So it could be really complex from that angle, how to leverage it most effectively. So I think for a lot of companies out there, they don't have a clue what they're sitting on yet in terms of if they have timestamp data over a long period of time that shows potential trends or that may or may not. It's an AI model, it's a scientist there to understand what you could extract. I mean, it could change their entire business overnight if the outputs are valuable and accurate.
Buckle up, right?
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more folks graduating in the near future, which I mean, you could argue that potentially they're more valuable than people that have been in the industry because they know the latest and greatest tech. And I think that's kind of a word of caution to folks who are, experts in their industry or know a problem and are using ChatGPT to solve it effectively. If you're going to use AI and solve a problem in a really novel way, it better be difficult and it better require some pretty deep domain expertise.
And I guess just trying to figure out, a lot of people who might be watching this are trying to figure out, how do I just get started? Because it's so overwhelming. What would be your recommendation?
I think it comes down to tap into your local network and find some people who know what they're talking about or just listen to what they're talking about on forums and stuff. Go to local events if possible, and then ask those people what sources they're using, what sites they're monitoring. And it's probably a good way to stay plugged in. Our website is propheticsoftware.ai. We are in stealth currently, so your listeners will know more than anyone outside of my team will. But we'll be soft launching in a couple months here, so drop a line through our website or contact me on LinkedIn, Oliver Alexander, and we're happy to further the conversation in any way. But,
well, Oliver, I really appreciate the conversation.
Thanks so much, Michael. Really appreciate it, and great conversation.
Serial entrepreneur. But before we get hello and welcome to CRE Tech Pulse, where we Hello and welcome to CRE Tech Pulse, where we